Elijah stops the rain. Ahab and Jezebel. And this is 1Kings 29 through 34 and 1Kings 21. When King Solomon died, Israel was split into two kingdoms. The people from Judah in the south followed Solomon's son Rehoboam. But Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, became ruler of the north. The kings of the north who came after Jeroboam were not faithful to God. One of them, Ahab, married a woman called Jezebel from another tribe. She worshipped a false god. It soon became clear that the real ruler was not Ahab at all, it was Jezebel. Ahab and Jezebel were cruel and selfish. One day, Ahab saw a man called Naboth working in a beautiful vineyard next door to his palace. "Will you sell me your land?" he asked. "It is just what I want for my vegetable garden." "I'm sorry," replied Naboth humbly. "I can't do that. This vineyard has belonged to my family for many years. It is only fair that my children and their children will have it in time." Now, Ahab was not used to people refusing him, and he was very angry.
"How dare you say no?"
he shrieked. Queen Jezebel was furious too. It wasn't long before Jezebel found a way to get what she wanted. She hatched a wicked plan to get Naboth into trouble and had him put to death for treason. "That's how to deal with these people," she laughed cruelly as she handed Ahab the documents that made him the new owner of the vineyard. Soon, everyone in the land was afraid of Ahab and Jezebel. They knew that if they did not do as the king and queen commanded, there would be trouble. And now tonight we're going to read Elijah Stops the Rain. And this is 1Kings 17, 1 through 6. Queen Jezebel was determined that everyone in the kingdom should worship her god, Baal. So she gave the order for all of God's prophets to be killed. "Everyone will soon forget about Israel's God and his laws," she sneered. But God wasn't going to let that happen. He chose a man called Elijah to help bring his people back to worship him. Elijah went to speak to Ahab and Jezebel. "There will be no rain in Israel until my God says so," he told them. And so it was. No rain fell for 2 years, no matter how hard the king and queen prayed to Baal. Soon the land was parched and people were starving. Ahab and Jezebel were furious with Elijah and wanted to kill him, but God knew what they were up to. He told Elijah to hide in a secret place and even sent ravens to bring him food to eat. And that, my friends, boys and girls, is the story of Elijah Stops the Rain. This week's lesson is self-control. Self-control can come in many facets, and I'll just focus on the one. So I did a 5-day fast. I did a dry fast. Dry fast, for those who don't know, is a fast where you don't eat or you don't drink. And I'm going to do a short monologue how that went. And then afterwards, I would like to come back and talk about it. So here's the reenactment. You're hungry. Dorito. You know, if you fast, you could die. I'm fasting. Thirsty. I can't eat. And when you don't eat, you could die. Hungry. No, don't eat. What's showing water was so today? Don't do it. Notice how good water looks. I can't drink. What's that thing making? This smells so good. It's a gimmick. Everyone keeps inviting me to foods and parties and I'm gonna go get me. It feels like it's gonna be forever. I can't wait. Cucumbers. Cucumber salad would be good right now. Oh yeah, I can't eat. Oh my grace is sufficient enough. I'm doing it for the specific reason. No, don't do it. Wait till this fast is over. Be strong. Remember why you're doing this in the first place. Stay focused. My grace is sufficient enough. I made a commitment to do the fast. I started the fast on Sunday, ended the fast Saturday. On Sunday, I was presented food, and in my mind, that food was so good. When I tasted the food, it was not as good as it tasted in my mind. And so that gave me an extra day when I could have finished a day earlier. After doing this fast, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, this is now Thursday. On Thursday was my first wall that I hit. I thought I was going to quit. I was going to give up. I didn't explain, but I put a clause in my fasting because I'm going to just say it. I was afraid. I had never done a 5-day dry fast before. And so I said in the clause that if I needed to, that I could, do what I needed to do to feel better if I needed to. So I was in school. I started to feel lightheaded and weak. And I prayed to God and I said that in 10 minutes, which at the time was 7:43, if my energy was not restored, if it would be okay if I would drink some orange juice or have some type of liquid to help me make it the next 3 days, which would have been Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And so I kept looking at the clock. The clock wasn't changing much. And then around 7:51, I started to notice I was feeling better, but I thought that it was all in my head. And I looked again, it was 7:53. And before 7:53, I had felt energized again. And I was thankful because I wanted to see the whole fast through, the whole entire 5 days. I wanted to be proud. I wanted to be a woman of my word and keep the promise that I had made and stick to the commitment and make it all through. This fast, it taught me long suffering. It taught me patience. It taught me how to stay focused, self-control. It taught me not to be so self-centered or so selfish. I got closer with my family during this time. I thought more of them more. Not that I wasn't before, but I just think that I was able to get out of my own head. And it was really tough. A lot of days I found myself complaining, missing food, missing drink, seeing people drinking, hearing people eat, seeing people eat. And I just felt miserable at the time. It almost felt like it was just lasting too long, and I was kind of regretting doing it, but I'm glad that I made it through. I did on the Friday, which was kind of like technically the 5th day. On the Friday around 11 p.m., I did drink. I had some orange juice because I was starting to have symptoms that day that was worse than any other day. I started feeling very, very tired. I was already feeling tired. That was the energy that I was getting the whole time. But this was a lot worse. I noticed that it was harder to think, like real deep thoughts. Like if it took a lot of brain power, it was hard to think. I remember having cotton mouth. I have and was using the restroom, but only urinating. And I did urinate that day. I do remember urinating, but it was just a little different than the rest of the days. I could barely sit up straight. I kept laying down. And I noticed that it just seemed a little different than the other days. It was some white goo or something that was on my tongue, and some of it had dried up on my lips because my lips was really dry because I wasn't really licking my lips. And I went to sleep. I wasn't stressed or anything, but I woke up around 11 something with like feeling lightheaded. I felt dizzy. I felt like I was going to pass out even though I was already laying down. And I had cramps in my arms, strange cramps. I guess it kind of felt like motion cramps, but it was in my arms, in my legs, and in my stomach. Simultaneously, it was like it would alternate sometimes. And so I just knew something was different. So instead of praying like I did on Thursday, I just got up and I drank some orange juice, and it was like a switch flipped on. I could feel my system like regenerating. And I do still wonder what that white stuff was on my tongue. But that was the basis of that day. I do kind of feel kind of like I failed because I drank something on that day and it wasn't like Saturday yet. But I am proud that I did make it the other days and the majority of that day without eating and drinking. So as you can see with the words that I wrote online, and as you can hear, I went through it. I don't know how many of you out there that's listening and watching fast or sustained from certain things. And I don't know your struggles, but I want to say from the deepest part of what I just went through and the Creator who lives within me, I would like to say, be strong. Whatever it is that you're doing, you may be in school, you may be in a situation that is really testing you. You know, it's so easy. It's so easy for people that's not going through that struggle that you're going through to just say, oh, be strong, you know. But I'm just trying to help you and encourage you to be strong. You have it in you to make it through whatever is going, just weighing you down, hurting you, harming you, irritating you. You have what it takes to make it. And I would just like to encourage you to stay strong. Something else that I didn't reenact, my main reason for doing the fast was to strengthen my relationship with God. And that's my lesson for this week. I'm curious to know, what did you learn for this week? Let me know in the comments. So what did you learn?
I learned he was stopping the rain.
Very good. Okay, very good. So now is the time for you to tell me, what did you learn? Let me know in the comments. And next time, boys and girls and friends, we're going to read Elijah and the Widow. Thank you very much for listening and watching. Like, comment, subscribe, share, and I'll see you in my next one. Later.